Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. I'm going to tell you about the day. Here I go. So I woke up at around 10 o'clock. And I remember my mom was telling me that a family get together has been made official and that she has the idea of making a video about our relatives um, who we are coming together to celebrate. And I think in this case it's like her grandfather, and that would make him my great grandfather. We want to make the party Irish or Scottish themed with unique meals having to do with that environment. We thought that would be pretty fun. Well, then my mom needed to leave, and I turned on the television in my room and I found a video by Diary of a CEO talking where he was interviewing two men. One was the director of the film documentary Age of Disclosure, and the other one was like I think his name was like Hal Puthoff, like some kind of physicist. And they were basically being asked about like all different questions about the UAP phenomenon and UFOs and things like that. And basically, if I were to break it all down, it was pretty much all of the questions that I think a lot of people have heard before. Like, if they're so advanced, how come they keep on crashing? Apparently, Halputoff's answer was, oh, they're like sometimes just left as gifts, and then other times, like the Earth's electromagnetic waves cause them to lose their balance, and that causes them to crash. Is apparently the reason he gave, which I'm like, oh, interesting. I guess super intelligent beings don't have foresight into avoiding electromagnetic waves, or maybe it's like a human who's really smart, but they're doing a very dangerous job where like factors of failure are very much, part of the job. But who knows? And then like the guy asked, "Oh, how come no one's filmed one of these with an iPhone?" And their response was, "Well, think of it like when you're trying to film like a fish, like a koi fish on a water, like because like the thing of water's blocking your view of them, they end up having more of a distorted look than how they would actually look like if you could see them in three-dimensional space. And because of that, they look different. And the same thing applies with the UAP. Apparently, they're able to bend space, time, and warp like the environment around them so they can get to where they need to go in insane speeds. And that's how they're able to just zoom off in one direction to another. And also, it makes it difficult for traditional like camera digital sensors to pick up these things because they're distorting space-time. It kind of warps their visuals up a bit, so it makes it difficult to parse or see them. So I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Um, yeah, and then our family friend came by and offered making food. I accepted, and so they recommended making some eggs, egg burrito. Well, I asked for egg burritos. They asked me what I wanted. I asked egg burritos, and they said okay. So they made the egg burritos. I had them with some ketchup, cheese, some salsa. They were very good. And we just hung out and enjoyed each other's company. Then, a family friend had to leave to study. When they left, I decided to go ahead and finish the video I was watching. when I was done with that, I decided to watch this guy called uh, Professor Dave Explains. And he made like a new video where he was talking about how his video was trying to be blacklisted by the lady who created the show Telepathy Tapes. Um, and he showed like evidence, screenshot evidence of like her company trying to blacklist his video, but he was able to repeal his video and get it back up and running. And so that made me curious to watch the video. And apparently, his argument is that um, interpreters who try to say what a nonverbal autistic child is saying, which is what the telepathy tapes are all about, doesn't actually know what the child is saying, and that essentially the interpreter is speaking for them without them actually saying anything. So this was like proven with an experiment where the interpreter was shown a picture, then the autistic savant was shown a picture, and then the interpreter had to type out or what the autistic, not savant, but just autistic person, nonverbal autistic person saw. And every single time they got it wrong, wrong, wrong. So that was pretty much exposing how interpreters aren't exactly interpreting, they're just essentially saying what they're pretending that the kid is saying it when really they're the one saying it, essentially. So yeah, pretty messed up. I was using that study back that was done like around the mid 90s as an example for why you shouldn't like trust this stuff, because it's like easily can be used as the grifting tool to trick hopeful parents into thinking that their children can still communicate with them through, you know, creative means. But ultimately, like he says, this is a stone cold lie. I don't support this. This is clearly just grift, like so the person who made this series can make money off of people who are hoping to communicate with their loved ones, and it's sickening. So after he said that, it reminded me of one of the parents who was interviewed for the telepathy tapes, who demonstrated their telepathic or mindsight capabilities on various different YouTube shows, and even a conference, like I think it was called like Out in the Desert in Nevada or something, where she had proven that like both her and her child did have some form of telepathic capabilities and they proved this by covering their eyes with a lot of different like coverings to ensure that there's no way they could see what is being asked or demonstrated of them. And then they're shown various things like symbols or colors or objects, and they're asked, what do you see? And then they always like name what they see with 100% accuracy. And so when I saw that, I was like, I wonder what Professor Dave thinks about these, because surely he would be able to say, oh, they're just doing a show, or like a con, like this is all a bunch of baloney. So I tried writing a comment to the video of the telepathy tapes thing, debunk video, and I sent it to him. Yeah, and I really hope that he responds eventually, because I would very much be interested to hear his opinion on that, because I think it's very interesting. Huh. Oh, it looks like one of the lights in my thing went off, because now it's a little darker in my room. No, that's a shame. Anywho, moving along. So yeah, after that, I decided to greet my sister outside. So hello. So I was gonna get ready for work. Then I went out and I got ready for work. I made a sandwich. I put some walnuts out, I got some chips, some Fresca soda. Um, yeah, and then I said goodbye to my sister, the lover, and then I got dressed for work and I went off to work. And at work, anything interesting happen? Not really. I mean, there were some fun interactions with some coworkers, I would say, like that I enjoyed. Um, I did uh, go have a nice 10-minute break. From the 10-minute break, I forget. Oh, yeah, I was watching like this video that was like a clip from a movie where like these men in black came to the guy's house and wanted to ask him about working on like a satellite. And he was like, "Who are you guys?" And I need to see some identification. And these like men in black dudes acted really weird. That was interesting. The most interesting thing about was that the YouTube comments were like saying that this is the most accurate depiction of the Men in Black ever put to film. Yeah, so now after watching that, went back to work. Worked for a while. Did sweeps all day long. Um, sweeped produce, break room, store floor. Checked restrooms. Um, And yeah, that's pretty much it. After that, I remember I went, had my lunch. It was a pretty good lunch. It was a sandwich. Yeah, with like mustard, mayonnaise, cheddar cheese, turkey, cayenne pepper, and then walnuts, and then baked Lay's barbecue chips and Fresca beverage. It was really good. I almost forgot to mention that today was one of my coworkers' birthdays, so I wished them a happy birthday. I remember they said that they decided to work on their birthday because they felt like their coworkers were like their family, which I thought was pretty sweet, pretty nice, really cool. And yeah, then I went back to work, punched back in, did all my closing duties, my take out the trash, bring in the bags, um, wipe down the check stands, things like that. Um, yeah, a coworker of mine was going through a rough tumble, and I was there to reassure them that everything was going to be all right. They left. I finished the last check stand. I asked my co-manager for the night if I could take buy something before leaving. They said sure, so I went. I grabbed my Tupperware, my can that I was going to use for recycling, and then I went downstairs. I greeted one of my coworkers who is also super into the alien thing. In fact, I think he talked about like in South Korea, there's like a UFO that's being they had like a base built around it because it was way too big to move. Um, and so that got me to be like, oh, I wonder if there's any footage out there. So I found some like Google Earth photos. I'm not exactly sure if they're like the real thing or if they're just so happen to be buildings that look round. Not exactly sure. I'd have to do some research into those specific buildings. It's very interesting though, that's for sure. Um, yeah, and I got cinnamon rolls. I punched out. I went. I said goodnight to my coworker, my co-boss. I went outside, went in my car. Um, tried to find something to listen to on my drive home. Settled on a Simeon Jimmy video where he's talking about the new Jackson movie with his buddies and how he said like he's not a huge fan of it. It's basically just really generic, you know, biopic that just has a bunch of like pop songs thrown all around it to distract you from the generic plot. Um, and then after that, I listened to like his review with his buddy Biggs about the movie Enemy when I arrived home, and I decided to make spaghetti, meatballs, and tomato sauce made out of tomato paste and water and Italian seasoning and olive oil. It was okay. Yeah, my mom got up. I greeted her. Then she left. Um, she went, yeah, greet me. So that was cool. And yeah, I was greeted by her family friend. Um, I then, when I finished the food, it was prepared. I watched an episode of the show Xavier, a Renegade Angel, where it was like about him going through different doors, through different like scenarios, and like all kinds of wacky stuff happens. I was like, that's interesting. And then after that, I used the restroom. I then took my vitamins. I brushed my teeth. I was listening to a guy talk about his encounters with like a mantis bings or whatever. And then I decided to make this update video. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go to bed now. Good night and take care. Stay safe out there, everybody. See you in the next one.